So today's video is going to be a little different. Uh, Not so much working on any projects, but this is more of something that I want to put together and, maybe call it a public service announcement. This doesn't really happen a lot. I know I'm very allergic to it. Doesn't happen often because I'm usually pretty smart about it. As it turns out, I got a severely bad rash from poison ivy just a couple days ago, and it really flared up yesterday morning. It's really bad. So it all started when my dad asked if I could give him a hand taking down a tree along the side of his property. He had a tree that fell, and it was leaning up against a white birch. I don't have any pictures of it, at least nothing good. So it was leaning up against a white birch, and the white birch was leaning, and it wasn't looking like it was a really good situation. So he asked if I could come and help cut it down. So I load up the Jeep, grab the trailer for any potential good firewood, and go over there, set it straight, start getting working on the project. Well, as it turns out, there was poison ivy all over in that area. It was a hot day. It was high 80s, which is like maybe mid 30 degrees Celsius ish. So hot. It was humid. So I was sweating quite a bit. There were vines everywhere in the area. So, I guess I'm just used to the vines that grow at my house, which are bittersweet. It's called bittersweet. And they're just annoying vines that are just nuisances. Nothing harmful to us or to our skin. So I'm not sure if I just didn't educate myself enough or stop to take a look to see if what I was going to be working in was actually poison ivy at all. But it turns out that it was poison ivy everywhere. And it wasn't just the poison ivy that grows as little, saplings or just little things on the ground. We're talking like the crawling kind, or the crawling kind that works its way up as a vine. I've actually never seen those before, and I get poison ivy quite a bit, or at least I should say I get it not quite a bit, but I've been getting it through my entire life. I get it at least once a year, and it's probably every 5 to 8 years that I get a really, really bad case of it. And this time it didn't really turn out so well. So for those of you who are not too familiar with what poison ivy is, it's a little plant, and it grows on the ground. It's about this big or so, and it might branch off a couple branches, and they have 3 leaves. Looks kind of like an oak, like an oak leaf a little bit. The difference is the leaves are very shiny. They look oily, and the oil on it is called, I think I'm gonna kind of botch it, but it's called urushiol. And it's basically an oily resin. So that oil, if you rub up against it, is an irritant and an allergen to the skin. Any brief encounter with it, whether it be large or small, is enough to give you a reaction. I think I did a little bit of looking up so I can sound somewhat educated about this stuff. About 80% of people are allergic to it, and the other 20% are not. But like most allergens, things can change as you get older. So if you weren't allergic to it when you were younger, you could end up becoming allergic to it when you get older. And that's the same with anything that you were allergic to. Now, it's not just poison ivy either. There's a couple other types. There's poison oak and sumac. They all produce the same oil, so no one is different than the other. It's just the plant that produces the oil. Typically, these are found in North America in wooded, marshy areas, but they can grow pretty much anywhere where it wants to if it's been transplanted. So really, why am I talking about this? It's so that you can, so that you learn about your surroundings, especially when you're going to be working in the woods, the forest, along tree lines and stuff like that. When you approach the area, just take a look. Take just a couple minutes. Take a look to see what small little plants or vines are going to be at your feet, up around you, and whatever. Educate yourself on what poison ivy looks like. Take a look. Like I said, 3 leaves. There's a saying: leaves of 3, leave it be. So if you see like a small little shrub on the ground, and it comes up and it has 3 little leaves on it, or might have like 2 branches, 3 branches, and then those have 3 leaves, just leave it alone. Just don't touch it, or just be extremely cautious about it, because that's poison ivy. Also, the really shiny, the really shiny leaves too. So, what else? What else? So if you found yourself encountering the oil and you touch it, or you think that you've walked through it, if you can, wash your skin pretty much immediately. But warm soapy water should be all that you need. There is a product out there called Technu, and you can use that as well as a wash to wash over the areas that have been affected. And that product is supposedly really good at helping. But the thing is, you need to do that almost immediately, like within 30 minutes, because any longer than that, the oil will have time to start making its impact on your skin. And that's when you start to develop, it may not start immediately, but think of it like a ghost, right? Or an invisible irritant. So you get it on your skin, and then after, it could take up to 24 hours for the rash to start to appear. For me, let's see, today's Friday, it was Monday, so this was only 5 days ago. Monday morning I did the work, and Monday night I could start to see I had some bumps on my arms, and I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I was just like, maybe the sun, it was really hot, sweaty, so maybe I had like a little heat rash or something. I didn't know. I wasn't really thinking that it was going to be poison ivy, but woke up the next morning, and oh my gosh, I looked pretty bad, and it only continued to get worse. So I think I have some pictures. Not sure if you want to see those. I'll probably just not include those. But it starts taking effect really quickly. And after the 30 minutes, even though you haven't had a rash, it's probably already too late. Now, the other thing about poison ivy is there's a common misconception that the oozing that these rashes produce can cause it to spread. Or don't scratch it, you're going to make it spread. That kind of stuff. Well, those are actually myths. Those aren't facts. What will cause it to spread is if you still have the oily resin still on your skin. If you were to smear that around, then you are going to spread it. But if the oil is gone and all that you have left is just some of the seeping, the seeping that comes out of the rash, which does look like an oil, that is not going to spread poison ivy. You will not transfer it to anybody else. You will not cause it to increase in size on your arms or anywhere that it's been infected. But bear in mind that it will take some time for the rash to appear. The bulk of my rashes are on my forearms. I have some on my legs, and I have some on my face. I'm talking with my hat on my brim because, if I'm honest, I'm a little embarrassed with how I look right now. But I wanted to make this as kind of like an informative video for you guys if you're about to go do anything out in the yard, to just be safe, be smart. Another thing, wear long sleeves, pants, cover yourself completely head to toe. Make sure that you're not going to be, prevent as much, skin exposure to the elements as you can, because that's something that could be avoided as well. My father, he was wearing long sleeves and pants, and he has no issue, and he's just as allergic to poison ivy as me. So he was pretty lucky. I was not. The other thing is, anything that you've touched can transfer the oils. So I was using gloves. They're outside. They've since been washed. All of my clothes that I was wearing have been washed, but the tools that I was using, I haven't washed those yet, because I haven't had the chance, nor have I had the desire to, because I'm just miserable right now. I still got to clean my boots, but take smart precautions. Wash your clothes, and then do a wash cycle on your washer. There's packets that are like, this big, a couple ounces of some type of powder cleaning chemical that you run through your washer, and you just do it on like a normal load, and that will also take care of whatever oils could still be in the washer. But yeah, so this oil is absolutely nasty. It's extremely transferable. So the tools that I used, if I were to touch them right now, then I would get a rash breakout on my hand or wherever I touched. It's that bad. Clothes, if you've got it all over your clothes and then touch it later, you're probably gonna get a rash. You're probably gonna pick it up, because the stuff, it doesn't matter how big or how small, how thick, how thin the oily resin is. If it touches your skin, you are going to get it. Wash your hands immediately. Wash your skin immediately. Even pets, if you've got any pets that go outside, run around in the yard, they may end up picking up some of the oils on their fur, and then, oh, little Toby just came in, oh, you're so cute, you pet your dog, whatever, and guess what, now you have it. So wash your tools, your clothes, take that off, and just wash it. Cover all your steps and make sure that you clean everything that you've touched. I mean, even something as simple as like, I don't know if you think about first degree things, like, well, you touched your tool, but then you put your tool down. Well, now that object that you put your tool down on will have the oil. Okay, so now we're talking about like first degree would be you touching the plant. Second degree would be you transferring it to the tool. Third degree would be that tool transferring it to what you just put it down on the ground. So, fourth degree, at that point, you then touch that object that the tool was on, that you ended up, contaminating. So now it's like a vicious circle. It just comes right back. You need to be smart. So clean everything that that you've interacted with. So I had to use the Jeep to pull some logs out. It was like a little bit of a slope with a stream that was down there, so needed to pull needed to use the Jeep to pull some of that stuff out. And so you hop into the Jeep, in and out. Now you've got your steering wheel, the shift selector, the door handle on the inside, door handle on the outside, the pull handle, window switches, everything. You got to wash everything. So I guess where am I at this point? So yesterday I woke up, and because I had mentioned that my face was pretty swollen, I could hardly see out of my left eye, and it's not because my eye was swollen shut. It was partially swollen shut. It was about, I don't know, like 60, like maybe 2/3 open, but it was just enough that pretend like you're squinting, and you know how when you squint it can get a little blurry. That's basically what was happening. So I wasn't able to see all that great, and just itchy all over the place, just uncomfortable being in my own skin. And at that point I just caved, and I called my doctor. Actually, no, that's a lie. I called my doctor the day before to see if I can get something to help, because it was getting bad, and then it continued to get worse until yesterday morning. So I was able to get a virtual meeting with my doctor, and they prescribed me prednisone. That's a steroid, and it's used for severe cases when you have it on your hands, and if you get it on your face and other sensitive areas, like anything below your belt line, or anywhere else. I mean, anywhere that has very sensitive skin. You can even get this stuff in your lungs too. So if you end up burning poison ivy and not knowing it, then you're breathing in the smoke, and that can get into your lungs, and that can cause some respiratory issues. So they use prednisone in this case for severe cases, and I tried looking into exactly what prednisone does to help, and I wasn't able to find anything definitive. But what it does, ultimately what happens is you take it, and the poison ivy may last typically 2 to 3 weeks. The steroids will help bring it down 1 to 2. It will help dry it up, and reduce the swelling. So it's probably, well, it's really the only medicine that can actively help get rid of it. But there's nothing that will get rid of it overnight. For minor cases, you can get around with using like a calamine lotion, like topical cream. Hydrocortisone can also be helped to help with the itching, but calamine, it has a way to kind of dry up the sores. So And then of course, there's also Benadryl. You can take Benadryl to help relieve with itching. Um, I know my doctor told me that I can take I can take 1 to 2 25 milligram tablets or capsules, and that that's something that I can take every 4 hours. But I'm not your doctor, so don't consult me about that. My body is going to be different than yours, so um, don't just assume that it's going to be okay to take that. So listen to what your doctor tells you. Um, so at this point, um, that's really what I wanted to talk about. Just learn about your surroundings before you actually dive into work. Um, Make sure that you're not just jumping into the whole thing Paul Bunyan like I did. Um, I was using the chainsaw and I had it up over my head, and all of that stuff was coming down. Just showering me, all the sawdust, and um, it ended up coming down on my and just resting on my arms. I'll show some better angles, but um, it's all the sawdust pouring down over my head, and I was sweating like crazy, and so my hands, my gloves had the poison ivy all over it, and I now have sweat going into my eyes. I can't see. The sweat's kind of stinging, so naturally, what do? You wipe your eyes, and so that's what happened. I wiped my face, and now I have it on my eyelids. Thankfully, I didn't get any into my eye, but my eyelids, my lower cheek, and my forehead along the side here. You can see I've got down on my neck. I have more along my pant line, my waistline, going up my back, and I have it on my legs. My legs are not as bad as my arms. But when I said that I was going to have you guys take a look at my arms, so you can see just how gnarly that looks. This is all poison ivy, mind you. And this is a bandage that I put on myself before I went to bed last night, just because of how much this area was seeping. This area is the worst. This is not fun stuff. And when I say seeping, this is what we're looking at for what these sores end up producing. It's like a yellowy, just gross stuff, and it ends up hardening. It washes out, so I'm not too concerned of like clothes or anything, nor should you guys be if you get it on any of your clothes. But take this as a public service announcement. Don't be stupid. Don't rub your eyes when you've been in poison ivy. Be smart. Wash your hands. Don't let this be you.